Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my friends, and welcome back to Westpol, the home of explanation of the Holy Qur'an from a Shia perspective. Two different explanations are used. Today's explanation is by Al-Mizan, while the other are by Ayatollah Puya Yazdi. If you are new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing to support this work of bringing to you the explanation of the Holy Qur'an. Also consider sharing this with anyone who might benefit from it, be they Sunni, Shia or non-Muslim. Thank you, and let's start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the Ever-Merciful. This surah was revealed in Mecca and consists of 9 verses. It severely warns the arrogant money grubbers who amass wealth in order to lord it over others, look down upon them, and find fault with them unjustifiably. First verse.
وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ.
Shame on every scandal monger, Humazah from hams, and slanderer, Humazah from lambs. Majma al-Bayan says, Humazah is someone who frequently spreads false libels about others and blames them for what is not really blameworthy. The root meaning of hams is breaking. Lambs also means flaw, defect, slander. Humazah and Lumazah are synonyms. However, according to al-Layth, there is a slight difference between them in that Humazah is someone who slanders others behind their back, while Lumazah is someone who slanders them in their face. Some also say that Humazah is a person who annoys the other with their foul words, whereas Lumazah is a person who does so non-verbally through gestures of the eye and head. The verbal pattern fu'ala denotes someone who does an action frequently, such that it becomes second nature to them. For instance, nukaha is a man who often does nikah, sex, marriage, and duhaka is one who is given to laughing. Humazah and Lumazah follow the same pattern. The meaning is shame on every slanderer and gossiper. Exegetes have also proffered other views according to their different interpretations of Humazah and Lumazah. Second verse.
الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَهُ.
Who amasses some wealth and counts it over. This verse interprets scandalmonger and slanderer. The word wealth is in the indefinite form, which indicates insignificance. This is because no matter how abundant one's wealth may be, it cannot do nothing for its owner beyond taking care of their daily needs, such as some food and drink, to satisfy their hunger and thirst, and counts it over. Adadahu from tadid. Tadid is synonymous with ad, which means counting, enumerating, tallying. The meaning is, since they are so enamored with wealth, they constantly endeavor to amass more of it, and then count their wealth again and again, because it gives them pleasure to see how much they have hoarded. Some have interpreted tadid as making a backup, uda. The meaning would be they stockpile money as a precautionary measure against potential future tragedies. Third verse.
يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ.
He supposes, Yasabu, his wealth will make him immortal, akladahu. They think their wealth will make them immortal in this world by staving off death and destruction. Because of being engrossed in far-fetched hopes and attached to the worldly life, humans will never be content with the amount of wealth necessary to take care of their meager daily needs. As their wealth increases, so too will their covetousness, to which there is no end. The way they conduct themselves in life is as though they suppose their wealth would make them immortal. Out of their instinct to live and survive, they acquire wealth and keep count of it. The wealth that they accumulate and count will give them a sense of self-sufficiency and superiority over others, as God says. Indeed, man transgresses, for he views himself self-sufficient. This sense of arrogance and transgression would lead them to slander and gossip. Here it becomes clear that the current verse, he supposes his wealth will make him immortal, explains the cause of the last verse, who amasses some wealth and counts it over, which itself is the cause of the first verse. Shame on every scandalmonger and slanderer, fourth verse.
كلا لينبذن في الحطمة.
Nay, Kala, he will surely be tossed, la yunbadana, from Nabd, into the crusher, al-Hutama. The exclamation, Kala, nay, never, no way, refutes their notion that their wealth will keep them alive forever. The letter lam in la yunbadana expresses an oath. Nabd means flinging, throwing away, discarding. Hutama is an intensive form derived from hatm, meaning breaking, cracking. It is also defined as consuming, eating. Hutama is one of the names of hell as interpreted below. It is the fire of Allah set ablaze. The meaning is, contrary to what they suppose, their wealth will not make them immortal. Rather, I swear that they will die and then be flung into the crusher. Fifth verse.
وما أدراك ما الحطمة.
And what shall teach you what is the crusher? This is to emphasize the magnitude of the crusher and to inspire awe in the audience. Sixth verse.
نار الله الموقدة.
It is the fire of Allah set ablaze, al-Mugada, from Agad. When used for fire, Agad means kindling, setting aflame. Seventh verse.
التي تطلع على الأفئدة.
Which will overspread, tatali'u, from Itila, the hearts, al-Af'ida. Itila and Tulu mean rising, appearing and hanging above something. Af'ida is the plural of fu'ad, which is synonymous with galb, heart. Both terms in the Quranic nomenclature refer to our principle of consciousness and reasoning, which amounts to the human soul. Apparently what is meant here is that hellfire burns both the interior and the exterior of a person, as opposed to worldly fires, which only burn the outside. God says its fuel will be humans and stones. Eighth verse.
إنها عليهم مؤصدة.
Indeed, it will close in upon them, they will be entirely surrounded by it. They will have no escape or refuge from it. Ninth verse.
في عمد ممددة.
In outstretched, mumadad, from tamdad, columns, amad. Amad is the plural of amud, pillar, pole, column. Tamdid is an exaggerated form of mad, stretching, extending. Some suggested interpretations are 1. The verse describes stakes that will close in on the inhabitants of hell. 2. It describes massive and extended shackles in which they will be locked. They are like wooden posts or giant tree trunks with holes pierced into them where the feet of prisoners such as thieves are tied. There are also other views. Examining narrations 1, Ruh al-Ma'an has narrated several views on the person about whom this surah was revealed. 1. Ubay bin Khalaf. 2. Ubay bin Amr al-Thaqaf, known as al-Akhnas bin Shar'aq, since he was a foul-mouthed gossiper. 3. Umayyah bin Khalaf al-Jumaha, who used to pick on the Prophet. 4. Jamil bin Amir. 5. Al-Walid bin al-Mughira, who also used to defame and disparage the Messenger of God. 6. Al-Ash bin Wa'il. Author's comment. The author of Ruh al-Ma'ani then adds, it is possible that the chapter was revealed with reference to all of. It could also be that these are the narrators matching the verse with specific people, as is the case in many narrations concerning the context of revelation of the verses, Asbab al-Nuzul. 2. Tafsir al-Qum says, shame on every Humazah, that is a person who winks at people disdainfully and scorns the poor, and Lumazah, that is someone who turns away their head and gets angry when they see a poor person or a beggar, who amasses some wealth and counts it over. This means accumulating wealth and storing it away. 3. Tafsir al-Qum says, which will overspread the hearts, it sets fire to the hearts. Abu Dar said, warn the arrogant about being branded in their chest and dragged on their back. Indeed, it will be musada upon them. Musada, means mutbaga, closed, locked, covered. In outstretched columns by God, when the stakes of fire stretch out toward them, the stakes will consume their skins. Imam al-Baqir said, the disbelievers and polytheists will taunt the sinful monotheists in hell, saying, we don't see your monotheism having done any good for you. We and you are all in the same boat. The Almighty Lord will take offense at that. So he will order the angels, intercede. They will intercede for whomever God wills. Then he will order the prophets, intercede. They will intercede for whomever God wills. Then he will order the believers, intercede. They will intercede for whomever God wills. Then he will say, I am the most merciful of all merciful. Leave the fire by my mercy. Thus they, the monotheists, shall leave hell like moths fluttering off. Then the columns of hell will be outstretched and will close in on them. That, by God, will mark eternity. That brings us to the end of this wonderful surah that serves to remind us to not get caught up with the glamour of this finite world, to remember the needy, and most of all, to remember our real purpose that we are here for, to make a better life in the hereafter. I hope you enjoy this. May Allah bless you. Take care.